I'm Nico.
I'm Eli.
And I'm George.
And this is the Sexiled Roomate podcast, and today we're going to be talking about teamcest.
So we'd just like to briefly introduce ourselves, and how we're going to do that today is we're going to give a summary of our current relationship status. I'll go first. I've never had a serious relationship, and I'm in the market for one, but I'm not actively searching.
I have just gotten out of a long relationship and have no idea what I am doing.
I'd say a good description of where I'm at right now is single and ready to mingle. I've been in a serious relationship, but I'm not currently in one. Just browsing the sea.
Yep. So we are all on a track team here on campus, and one topic that we have come to discuss a lot is teamcest. And today we'd like to explore that topic and the pros and cons of teamcest.
So what we're really doing is asking a moral question. Is teamcest good or bad?
So let's start off by just prefacing also what teamcest is. So this is relationships within a sports team or a group. So we're going to be exploring that topic to see.
And this can be applied to daily life, such as in an office work environment. You know, it's not exclusive to teams.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, no family stuff in here, but otherwise it applies to daily life.
Yes.
Also, we would like to remind you that we are all single. So if you're looking for healthy relationship advice, this is not the place you go.
So far, on this team, there has been quite a bit of teamcest in the first week on campus. We have had 3 incidences confirmed of teamcest.
Hey, Georgie.
Oh,
here's our first caller. Hello. Welcome to the Sexiled Roommate podcast. Today, we are talking about teamcest. Now, everybody, this is, as we said, a sophomore on the team. Could you briefly give us your opinion of teamcest? Is it good or is it bad?
We were having some technical difficulties with our first caller, so we were going to get back to discussing the topic of incest.
What he means to say is team incest, not familial and incest.
The incest where the jury is still not out. Perfect.
Okay.
This is absolutely perfect. So, is teamcest good for team chemistry or bad for team chemistry?
Depends with who. That is a great point. Great clarification. Would you like to elaborate on that a little bit more? What do you mean by depends with who?
If she's lit.
If she's lit.
Lit.
Interesting.
I never thought of that.
Yes. So
Max, would you rather it be like is it better for team chemistry if it's a one-time hookup or a long-term relationship?
Because, remind you, you're going to be seeing these people for weeks, months, years. You could be with this person for 4 years.
I mean, eating dinner, eating breakfast, eating lunch,
eating out,
partying with them.
Out. Oh my goodness. So, just tell us, please. You know.
Is it better to hook up with someone on the team or to be in a long-term relationship?
Right.
For chemistry purposes.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, you're looking at this chemically.
Exactly.
Empirical, I love it.
A long-term relationship is like a normal chemical bond, while hooking up like Diet Coke methods.
Okay. So
it's up to you, Holmes.
Would you say hooking up is a low-risk environment, whereas a relationship is a high-risk environment? Is that what you're saying?
I would reverse that.
Reverse that?
Oh,
wow. Interesting. Wait. So can you explain why hooking up is more disastrous than a long-term relationship?
Why is hooking up more disastrous than a long-term relationship?
Exactly.
Because it's weird when you look someone in the face and you know they've seen your dick.
Interesting point.
Insightful information,
insightful.
Max. All right, do we want to get on to our live guest?
Our live guest?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you have brought up some very good points. I never considered, thinking about whether or not the person was lit. These are very valid points, and we will discuss them more. Thank you.
Wait, no, I have a question.
Oh, yes, please, ask away.
So sure what you're saying is what I'm on a podcast.
Exactly.
Not at all. But you should speak louder.
Right.
I'm on a podcast.
Right. Who will listen? Who's to say?
Feel lit.
Lit.
Lit. Make sure she
My
is
name
lit.
Is there anything, maybe you want to recount a personal experience with teamcest that might be insightful for our viewers?
One time, I came grinded on you.
Hello.
Hello, who are we speaking with?
This is Shiva. Jake just gave me the phone. I don't really know what's happening.
Oh, so we are, welcome to our podcast. This is called the Sexiled Roomate.
So you're here with Nico, George, and Eli.
Yeah, and we are today asking the question, is teamcest good or bad?
Are you familiar with teamcest, the idea surrounding it?
Yes.
Okay.
I am familiar.
Okay. Do you think it's
I don't think.
okay?
Well, okay. Like, it depends on. There's lots of different strands of team sets.
Oh,
Right.
Like,
of course.
like a hookup or like a relationship or like what?
Exactly.
Right.
These are the questions that we're trying to get to the bottom of,
Which one do you think is the most detrimental to the team?
or
Oh,
beneficial.
definitely. Well, I would say hookups, but I don't know. I guess when it's most detrimental is when it's unclear what it is.
Oh.
You know, like if both parties know it's just a hookup, it's just a hookup.
That is a great
And
point.
if it's a
great point.
long-term relationship and it goes bad, unless like it's not a mutual breakup, then it's gonna be like okay, and people are gonna move on. But if it's like, sorry, you're giving me weird looks. If it's not like one person thinks it's going somewhere and the other person knows it's not, that's when I think it could turn really bad.
Right.
Right.
So I
Right.
think the point here is, it's kind of like a regular relationship. If you want to be on the same page, but when it gets to the point where it's between two teammates, now it's getting to the point where being on the same page not only affects the couple, but it affects the team chemistry as a whole.
Right.
Got it.
All right.
So would you say when
Yeah.
approaching a team relationship, you would have to be more careful?
I would say so. Yeah.
Would you recommend
I mean,
teamcest?
you should be careful like in all situations, but like.
Right. What would be the ideal situation where teamcest would benefit the overall team chemistry?
Well, I don't know. Like, I guess in most cases it just kind of benefits the two that are in it if it's good. But like,
Right.
I guess it can bring branches of the team together. Like, if like one member of the couple like is friends with certain people, and the other is like friends with other people in the team, and then they all hang out. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, I
as
mean,
that's a good
couple, that
point.
could be
There's
good.
there's no better way to get to know your teammates than by having sex with them.
Thank you,
my
Eli.
God.
Thank you,
Eli, that was a great
okay,
point.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much
Yeah,
for your
thank you so
input.
much.
Of course, anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And have a wonderful night.
You as well.
Oh, thank you.
So now that was great.
That was a
And
wonderful.
now we
candid
would like to
discussion.
invite on our live guests.
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast.
Here.
For those of you not aware, we do host our podcast with a live audience. So if you hear extra laughing in the background, that's what that is. Because
Yep.
we are funny as shit.
Okay.
So-
if you could just come here and this is a microphone. I don't know if you know how they
Yes,
work.
yes,
Okay.
I'm aware.
So, how long have you been on campus?
About a week and a half, I'd say.
week and
A week and a half.
same actually.
Yeah.
Wow. All of us.
How about that?
Wow.
All
That's
right.
a coincidence.
So, Eli, how much team cest have you participated in?
Me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to get too in deep about this discussion.
Okay.
Oh.
Very strange choice of words.
But I've been involved in Team Cest on 2 occasions so far.
Wow. In a week and a half.
Yeah,
That's a great
and
ratio.
I guess my opinion on it is that it's kind of about who it's with.
Okay.
So at first, it's a little bit awkward. Not gonna be honest.
You're not,
Not-
You're not gonna be honest.
Oh no, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
Great.
You know,
That's what we
you're
asked
not,
for.
you're not really going into the night thinking that that something like that is gonna happen necessarily. So the aftermath may be a little bit tense.
Sticky.
Sticky is a
Or
great word.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
guess
the
you
word
could
you
describe
want.
it with that as well. However, I'd say that if you just treat it as something that's fun and you're kind of on the same page, then I'd say that there's nothing really wrong with it.
Awesome. So Nico and I, not Nico.
Yeah, of course.
We have not participated in teamcest.
We have not.
Teamcest, no.
And there are
Okay.
4 people here, including our guest, and me and George have not. And as we just heard, Eli did, and our guest. Would you like to
Yeah, give us your number.
give us your number?
Oh, my numbers. Well,
Or at least just your take.
Your take.
Well, I mean,
numbers first.
numbers
No,
first.
no, no, no.
Do you think
Take
it's good or
only
bad?
take. Only take. Only take.
I
We
think
don't
I'd like
want to
to
bring in
echo
numbers.
a lot of what Eli said.
Uh-huh.
I think the casual aspect of it is a very important thing, and it can create an environment that is not, it can lead to bad things if done incorrectly. But in a casual environment, it can create a way to let off steam, perhaps.
Okay.
You know.
So,
Yeah.
so would you agree with our first caller's input that a big factor of whether Team Cess is going to be successful or not successful is whether or not it is lit?
I think that was a very wise thing to say, personally.
I think that's an upperclassman sharing some true wisdom.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I might change my outlook on life because of that quote, to be quite honest.
Okay, it's a little scary.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So, have you had any negative fallouts from your decisions so far?
I would say no.
No. Huh.
Not that he knows of.
Not that he knows of.
That
means-
Thank you.
got it.
Thank you, audience.
Okay, wait, we're gonna take a step back, and we're gonna think about everything that's been offered right now,
Yeah.
all the philosophies. So we have the idea that it depends how lit the person is.
Uh-huh.
We have the idea that relationships and team cess is kind of like
Fine wine.
like a bond, and it can be broken. That can cause.
I think one of the most
disaster.
important things that was said was that it's very important that both people are on the same page.
Right.
If one person thinks it's something that it's not, I think that is when you run into the
Right,
most
because
problems.
you're thinking.
Hello, everybody.
Oh,
We
wow.
would like to welcome our final caller of the evening. This is our captain.
And the truth.
And the truth, yeah. So welcome to the Sexiled Roommate podcast. This episode is on teamcest.
You're here with George, Nico, and Eli.
And we're just asking the moral question, is teamcest good or bad?
Well, as one who's had experience with a team cest, you can either bring the team together or drive the team apart. So it really all depends on how you handle it. I would say, in the beginning, if you're a freshman, let's say, team cest is like, okay, no one really expects you, no one has any expectations. But by the time that you get to my age, being a senior, anytime you're messing around with people on your team, it's a little bit serious. Emotions get involved. People don't just see it like a thing. So it really just depends on your age. But I would say as you age through college, team cest is more and more problematic.
Oh.
So would you say that team cest is kind of a parallel between relationship status as you move throughout your life? Like freshman year, it's more about the hookups and stuff like that, and you're just trying to explore all of your options, whereas when you're getting a little bit older, it's more about
Finding a lifelong mate.
you're looking
Finding
for
a
a
lifelong
mate.
mate,
Yeah.
Right.
I would say it certainly can be a metaphor. There are exceptions for everything, and there are certainly exceptions for team cest. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna date someone on the team as a senior, it's probably a lot more serious than it would have been if you were just a wee freshman or sophomore.
A wee
Right.
freshman, right?
Yeah.
A
So
wee lad.
could you recount maybe a personal experience of teamcest gone wrong.
No names, of course.
Yeah, no names. This is confidential.
podcast.
Well, my experiences are depends on who you ask whether or not they're limited. But I would say I've had both positive, neutral, and negative experiences with teamcest.
You're experienced.
Yes, interestingly, the mostly, I would say, it's positive experiences of freshman year where it's just like, it was just a thing, and it happened one night, and then you like, see the next day, and you're like, what's up? You know that happened, but we don't need to think about it. Like, it's fine. It doesn't change our friendship.
Right.
And again, like I said, as you age through the program, it's like weirder and weirder. Like maybe it's just a drunken hookup at that point. And of course, like one important variable to think about is not only your own age, but the age of the other person. So that's a big thing to consider where you are in your like academic career.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Wow. That's
So,
very
I would
insightful.
say, like,
Great points.
expectations, whether fully, whether clear or not, that they kind of determine the course of one's experiences with teamcest.
Right. I mean, as we delve more into this topic, it seems like there's way more to think about than just, going to a party and see what happens. You gotta think about this from many angles. There's
So
the
many
team.
There are a lot of layers.
There's the two parties. There's the idea of
Litness?
age,
Litness.
litness. Yeah, our last caller brought up the litness factor.
Right, so that's just how lit the person is that you are
Oh yeah, I would
consummating
say
with.
FMOs, such as dance floor makeups, are strongly ill-advised.
Oh, okay.
Ill-advised.
Your business is your business, and things can only get more complicated if more people know.
Right.
Wow.
I didn't even think about
That's
that.
very
Great
smart. Wise.
So, yeah.
So, dance floor makeout, avoid that.
Yeah, I mean, if something is trending with another person in that direction, why not just let it trend that way?
Right.
The privacy of a room, whether or not it's your own. It's just, you would hate for someone to snap a covert image on a cell phone and be able to blackmail you with that later.
Wow.
If you wouldn't want it on the front page of the New York Times.
Yeah. I go by the grandma test. If you wouldn't want your grandma to see you doing it, don't do it.
Don't do it.
So
That's also pretty good.
basically, save it for marriage.
George has a very nosy grandma.
Got it.
Leave room for Jesus, as they say.
Exactly.
Yes, got it.
Yes, very important.
Will do.
That's
That's what they say in my synagogue as well. Leave room for Jesus.
So, what would you say about long-term relationships?
Do you think those?
Regarding what? Like, what
Oh,
would I say about
teamcest.
things?
Do you
Like,
do
is
you
it
think
good?
like having long-term relationships like on a team adds to team chemistry, or deducts?
Right, is it detrimental or beneficial?
Well, I've witnessed one that actually reaches long term. So once you survive past like 3 to 6 months with someone, and you hit the more like long term aspect of a relationship, then I would say oftentimes it can be really healthy for team relationships. There are many people who come through this program who are who began dating and are either like married, engaged, or trending in that direction, and that was incredibly useful for the team. It just helped strengthen the bond between the two aspects of our program. And then, you really just got to push through the hard part of the first 3 to 6 months when it's novel for everyone. And, because you have your honeymoon phase for the first 3 months and, like, everything's perfect. But after that, like, everyone's all up in your business and you just don't really know how to act because it's still new to you and you're still finding out so much about the other person.
Right.
But,
We got one more question for you, which is,
of course,
do you know right now who you want to marry?
of course not.
Oh,
It's
all
not
right.
really known who Davis is.
right.
Well, that's a little bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, that's kind of why we called. But
No, we're
Whatever.
We're kidding.
thank you so much for that.
We appreciate all of
Yeah.
your insight, wisdom.
Yes. Your 4 years of experience on us.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, a full 3, going on 4.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
But
That's
a pleasure
that's a
with
long
all mine,
time.
boys.
We only got a week and a half.
No.
You got 3 years.
Well, we're gonna let you go. We got a little bit more to talk about. We gotta dive deep into.
Stop saying that.
into the information that we've already discussed.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
All right.
talk to you later.
Oh, again, it was my pleasure.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Best of luck. Bye.
All right, so we have a lot going on here. We have the idea of like the time and the like the place in the relationship with the two people,
Right.
whether it's the beginning, whether it's long term, whether it's just hookups.
Right. So, first of all, long-term relationships, good.
Yeah,
If they work out.
If they work out.
If they
because-
don't, they seem
Right.
like they could be the most detrimental.
And because-
Exactly. I would agree with that statement.
and because the first couple months is also a pretty tense time because everybody's kind of interested to see like what's going on, how's this gonna work out. But once you kind of like reach that point, it gets better. So you got the places within the relationship that makes a
Yeah.
difference.
So, and we also learned hookups, good, but keep it private. Or at least
Right.
okay.
Right.
If it's a good hookup, it can be good.
Right.
You know, in this
litmus factor.
Yeah.
Litmus
Very
factor, the
important.
litmus test.
In-
we'll call
Litmus.
that. The litmus
in
test.
in this week and a half though, we've already witnessed lots of dance floor makeouts. And
Yeah, that's
what
true.
what we
Several.
learned today is, maybe that's not the best idea because you could use that against someone.
Yep.
More people are seeing this.
It's one of the more prolific types of teamcest that we see
However, yeah, we've learned that it may not be the most helpful.
by one of
Right.
the most wise people in our inner circles.
Yeah. And
Right.
I mean, just for people like me who just consume drama, it's probably not good to do it in front of me. You don't know what I'm gonna do.
And this
Right.
is very good information for people like Eli, who for people like me and George will never have to use any of this
Exactly.
information. But we would like to send you off today with our Sexiled Roommate of the Week. Who can come right up here
Yes.
and tell us a little bit about his experience.
Yeah, so I mean, the topic of the week, or the topic at least of this podcast, was teamcest, obviously. But as for the name of our podcast, The Sexiled Roommate, it makes a lot of sense to share some experiences with someone who has been a sexiled roommate.
I mean, that is what we're here for.
So, Colin, what happened, buddy?
All right. I introduced myself already. I'm Colin. I'm on the team. So last night, what was it? It was around like 1:50 a.m. I was sitting in, of course, Basement Belk Lounge, the only place to be. I got a text message and quote, "Hey, I'm in here with someone. Just text me if you really need to sleep." So one could interpret that many different ways. I chose to be confused about it, and I asked Rachel to read it over. And she said something like blah blah blah, like you can't go back to your room. So I was stuck at that point because like people were leaving. It was around 2 a.m. I was really tired, so I approached my good friend Nico.
I would not classify us as that, but continue. I'm
Teammates.
My acquaintance Nico. And I asked if he would so kindly take me in for the night, which he did. I'm used to sleeping on floors. I'm a big floor sleeper. I never really got that. I never really got that love from my parents. They gave all my siblings beds except me, so I kind of slept on the grass outside or in the dirt pile I made in the woods.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
So Nico was so kind to let me into his room. Of course, only there being 2 beds, Nico and his roommate took it, and then I, of course, had the ground.
we gave you a sheet.
There was 2 things at my disposal in this room. 3 actually. First, a gold chain that was put around my neck as I entered the room, a sign of welcomeness, which I appreciated very much. Next, one of the swivel chairs, or the computer chairs that they gave us, was pushed over on its side so that the head of the chair was on the ground so I could place my head on it as a makeshift pillow. And Nico so kindly took off a thin sheet off of his bed to give me warmth throughout the night.
All right. Well, Colin, how did this instance of being the Sexiled Roommate make you feel?
I really didn't care, to be honest. Like, it wasn't that bad.
Would you rather have been in the room?
That's gonna be a no for me.
Got it.
It's going to be a no from him.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank all of our guests today. Really insightful stuff.
Yes.
We learned a lot of information about the idea of teamcest. We got a head start on what it means to be a Sexiled roommate. And how that's making you feel.
All right. So to all the people sleeping on the ground tonight, good luck. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you.